Welcome to Cooking Meat After Dark. I'm your host, Chef Pat, and we're going to be cooking you something very sexy. Meatheads have been asking, Chef Pat, have you always been this talented? Why don't we refer to my high school talent show where I won first place? That was about as good as life ever got for old Chef Pat. Now let's cook this fucking dead rabbit. Welcome back to Cooking Meat After Dark. Join us while we sip on this bold red wine, red for passion. And we enjoy this cool Colorado night under the pink harvest moon. And we got ourselves a dead rabbit. Skinned, head cut off, legs cut off. Have you seen anything sexier? Taste the passion. Right before we taste this guy, huh? Remember, this is Cooking Meat After Dark. The meat babies are upstairs asleep, so we just gotta remember to be very, very quiet. For these wascally rabbits. It's rabbit season. It's Elmer Fudd. We're gonna make rabbit confit. Confit is a technique of cooking where you basically slow cook an animal in its own fat until it's super nice and tender. You just shred it up and stuff it in whatever. Rabbits don't have a lot of fat on them. To kind of supplement that, we're gonna slow cook it in olive oil. It's kind of like a poor man's confit. If you want to do it in like lard or tallow or something like that, you could make it more of a true confit, but we can do it with olive oil. It's gonna be a very light, delicate dish. So we're gonna cook this really low and slow overnight. And in the morning, it'll be done. We'll shred it all up and then we'll finish the process. And what we're gonna do with this shredded rabbit is we're gonna make Chile Rellenos. Chile Rellenos literally means stuffed chilies. So we're gonna take roasted chilies, this beautiful rabbit meat, some Oaxaca cheese, and we're gonna stuff them and eat it, and it's gonna be fantastic. But the first thing we gotta do is get this rabbit going. A lot of people don't know what to do with rabbit, so they usually just either like fry it up or slow cook it in like a pot pie or something like that. This is one of the ways you can get the meat from the rabbit without having to do all that process, and then you take that meat and do a bunch of cool things with it. You can make rabbit raviolis, rabbit quesadillas, shredded rabbits, rabbit tacos, rabbit anything. And another cool part about doing this is that if you get a whole rabbit just like this, you don't have to do anything to it. You don't have to chop it up, you don't have to butcher it or anything. You throw it in whole, just like this. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna use this pot, but we're gonna have no heat. That's not on at all. We're gonna put this beautiful rabbit. So here's the front legs. You can kind of see it's been cleaned. That's where all the guts would have been. Ooh, do we still have guts? Oh, they forgot something. We'll just double check this rabbit, make sure we got nothing in there. Oh, this one came with a battery still. He's not gonna keep going and going and going for much longer. So these are the back legs. This is probably where most of the meat is. You got some belly, you got some along the back straps, kind of like your loins, and some more shoulders, and that's about it. There's no head, there's no feet on it. We're just gonna throw this in like this. Perfect. We are going to add this olive oil until it covers the rabbit. We haven't added any seasonings yet. It's almost pointless to add seasoning directly on the rabbit at this point. All the oil is just gonna kind of wash it off and dilute it anyways. And after we cook it and shred it, when it's still hot, then we can add a lot of the seasonings, like the salt and pepper and stuff like that. We're just gonna soak it in oil, a bunch of herbs, a bunch of aromatics, some onions, some garlic, lemon for acidity. We really wanna make sure that this is submerged in oil. All right, so now we're gonna add a bunch of herbs and aromatics, maybe some peppercorns, maybe a little bit of salt, not too much. So I'm gonna cut off just the top of this garlic, just to kind of open it up, and I'm gonna throw the whole thing in there. Look at that. We got some leftover onions from an earlier episode. We don't need a lot of onion, just a wee bit. Bloop, right in there. Fresh bay leaves. We're gonna put a bunch in here. We'll put 5 in there. We got more beautiful fresh herbs. We put thyme and sage in there. Put 1 lemon. We don't need to squeeze it or anything like that. We'll just throw it right in there, give it a little acidity. Some whole peppercorns to give it a little bit of a peppery flavor. So we're gonna dump them all in there. Not all, but we're gonna dump a lot of them in there. We're just gonna give it a little bit of salt, not too much, just to kind of get a little bit of seasoning to it. Nothing crazy. That is pretty much it. Onion, garlic, herbs, lemon. If you really want, you could put some celery in there. You can make it sweet. You could put something like sugar in there if you want, some brown sugar. If you don't want to season the rabbit later, you could kind of cure the rabbit with like a salt, pepper, maybe some brown sugar, and let it just sit kind of crusted in that for like a day before you do this part. So we're gonna let this sit in the oven all night. It's preheated to 190 degrees, so it's not even enough to like fry it or anything like that. It's not even boiling. Boiling is 212 degrees, just in case you didn't know. So this is gonna be less than boiling. So it's really just gonna be slow, but because we're cooking it so low, we're gonna have to do it for a long time. So it's about 8:30 at night. I bet you this will be done about 8:30 in the morning. We'll give it a solid 12 hours. We're gonna check on it throughout the night, so don't worry. We're not gonna just leave it all willy-nilly. We'll be making a few stops just to make sure everything's going good. You got hot oil in a hot oven. So we're gonna put this lid on there. We're gonna throw it in there. So we'll see all you meatheads in the morning. Make sure your coffee's hot, because it's gonna be a late night. All right, night-night meatheads. Sweet meats. Shh, meatheads. Everybody's sleeping. It's about 11:30. We're gonna do our first check on the rabbit. It's looking good. All right. We'll see you in a couple hours. All right, meatheads. It's about 1 in the morning. I can't believe Ricky's still asleep on the counter. We're gonna do one more check. We're looking really good, you guys. Back to bed. We'll check one more time before we get out of here. Shh. Okay, meatheads. It's about 3 in the morning. It's the last check before the new dawn. Right on track. Okay, meatheads. That's the last check. We get a good night's sleep. We'll see you in the morning. Ricky. Good morning, Ricky. And good morning, meatheads. I hope you all had a great night's sleep. I was up all through the night checking on our rabbit, and I think we have nailed it. It is now 9 in the morning. It smells good. I gotta tell you, it's been smelling good throughout the house all night. Oh. Let's see. Ooh. So one thing about cooking in oil and stuff, it's not gonna reduce. That's one reason why we can kind of feel comfortable leaving it overnight. It's not gonna reduce down and burn. Oh my God, that smells so good. And it's gonna keep all the moisture in. The moisture in the meat can't escape because of osmosis. I'm pretty sure that's right. Because osmosis, the water wants to go from the most concentrated to the least concentrated. Pretty sure that's right too. There's no water for it to go anywhere, it just stays in the meat. So it's gonna keep all that moisture in the meat inside the meat because it doesn't have any place to go. So the next thing we're gonna do, while we are gonna shred this rabbit, we're gonna start roasting some poblano chiles. The poblano chiles, probably the most typical used for Chile Rellenos, which is what we're gonna do. We're basically gonna roast these off, skin them, peel all the seeds out, stuff them with cheese and rabbit. You typically fry them, but we're not gonna fry them. We're gonna oven roast them just for, I'll explain that later. Here we go, we're gonna take out this rabbit, see how this wasky wabbit did. Oh, look at that. It's just gonna fall apart. It's actually gonna be kind of difficult to get out. Hey. Back up, Ricky. We don't want to get any hot oil on you. But you can just see, I don't even do anything. It is falling apart tender. So if you ever have like carnitas, braised beef, or anything like that, or like duck confit, you know what I'm talking about. This is like super shreddable, and then we're gonna fry it up in a pan a little bit and crisp it up. It's gonna be just spectacular. And we have lots of flavor from all the stuff we put in there. The onions, the garlic, the lemon. But yeah, if you want to make garlic bread, seriously take this out, squeeze out all that garlic, and then just put it on a piece of toast with some Parmesan cheese or something, a little salt. Oh, I think that's it. So I think we're good. You might be asking yourself, Chef Pat, what are we gonna do with all this goddamn oil that's left over? There's a couple things you can do with it, especially if you're making like a pasta with this rabbit confit. You strain it, bottle it, and you have like rabbit confit olive oil. And there's so much flavor in this. Let's see how it tastes. It's like a savory herbal olive oil that you can use to finish things, especially meaty things. It'll last a little bit. It won't last forever because it's got a lot of stuff in it. But if you want, like I said, if you're doing some pasta dishes, you make a little salad, you want to finish it with the rabbit oil, it'll be so good. You can use it for a couple different things. So if you watched the tallow episode, you remember what happened when I didn't do it over the sink? I really burnt myself. 4 fingies down. It's gonna be the name of my autobiography. So I'm gonna do it over the sink, so you're not gonna get to watch all the cool action, but I also don't want to burn my hands again. So work smarter, not harder. This is the smart way to do it. Over sink, pouring away from yourself. Look at all that oil. So beautiful. So look at this little rabbit drumstick. Oh my God, I haven't even seasoned yet. It's already so good. Oh, just pure rabbit oil. So we're gonna roast these chilies. Oh yeah. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a quick salsa verde. To get this rabbit, just like this was 12 hours in olive oil, like a seasoned olive oil in the oven at 190 degrees. So you don't need a high heat. The reason why we didn't do a high heat is so it can cook super long. If you're cooking it in oil, especially that oil, and you have the temperature too high because you're trying to cook it faster, it fries it. And then you have fried meat, and that's not really what we're going for. We're going for like a shreddable meat. All right, I'm very excited about this because we get to finally try out our larby puck on film. The larby puck is a cast iron seasoning. If you take a look at this cast iron, I didn't season it the last time I used it. I really had to let my cast iron pans go because I take very good care of them. And I've been using this for like a month, and it is the best cast iron seasoning that I think I've ever had. After you clean your pans, however you like to do it, I do it with hot water and a wooden spatula that I have just for cleaning and scrape off whatever thing's stuck. You get it a little warm, pan on low heat. This is made from lard and beeswax. I know you can't smell, but it smells like beeswax. I've been using it. Once you get your pan hot, you throw that puck in there. I give it a little wipe down like this. Right. And that's it. One puck has lasted so long. I'm pretty impressed with how long it's been lasting. You just take a paper towel and whatever's left over, see how you didn't get the edges and all that. Just kind of give it a quick little wipe down to get in the crease. And that is it. Look at that pan, like brand new. I wish that it wasn't so easy so I could make a longer commercial for it, but literally, I clean my pans that fast with the larby puck. They have a vegetable-based one that's called the Crispy Puck. Check them out on Instagram at Crispy Puck, C-R-I-S-B-E-E, like B, like B. And if you work with cast iron a lot, they work great on black stones and flat tops. I'm telling you, a little bit of this goes a long way. Before and after, that took 5 seconds. And look how easy that was, and look how great this pan looks. You could scramble eggs on this and not have it stick. I'm pretty impressed with this product. This is a sponsor of the show for sure, but I am a proud user of the larby puck because it's just really been taking care of my cast iron pans and stuff. Awesome stuff, guys. Keep it up. We're gonna start roasting off some vegetables for salsa. All right. We're gonna make this quick. This is a quick salsa verde. This isn't the star of the show, but we do need a little salsa for our Chile Rellenos. So we're gonna make a homemade salsa. Salsa verde, I think, is my favorite salsa. I don't like tomatoes, but these tomatillos, they aren't even tomatoes. They're not green tomatoes, so it's like a cheat code. You know what I mean? I get all the salsa delicious flavor, but no tomatoes. This is something that I used to do in restaurants a lot. I have a salsa verde that I use kiwi with too. So it's a kiwi salsa verde. So this is not a traditional dish. You're not gonna find this on the streets of Mexico. This is definitely a done up fusion-y Chef Pat original. But maybe not original, but I'm sure I'm not the first person to do this. Mexican food is probably one of the biggest influences on every kid in Southern California grew up eating tacos and burritos, eating salsa, even just like the regular, even at white people taco night, you still have like good salsa and cilantro and maybe something spicy. So those things have always influenced my cooking. Having some Mexican flavors kind of incorporated into any dish. So even though I think rabbit confit is French, almost burned myself. Even though I think rabbit confit is French, that's the beautiful thing about cooking, man. Just mix it all up and try new stuff and combine things. And so anyway, so that's what we're doing today. Salsa verde, rabbit confit. So it's gonna be fun. This is a fun dish. I know it's kind of involved. This might not be the best one to make at home, but whatever. 3/4 of an onion. You can make salsa without roasting all the vegetables. This is honestly just like a preference thing. It just brings out a smoky flavor. It usually helps bring out a lot of the sugars in some of these dishes. Onions have a lot of natural sugar in them. The tomatillos have a lot of natural sugar in them. And roasting it kind of brings out those sugars, kind of like a caramelized sugary taste. If you don't like that, you could just throw all these things cold in a blender and do it that way if you want. It's up to you. I will say 5 cloves of garlic. I'll just smash them up, peel off the skins. And we'll roast these guys too. The garlic will cook the fastest, so we'll throw this in at kind of towards the end because we want them roasted, but we don't want them burnt. There's a special place between cooked and burnt. It's called roasted. I like to try and get there. All right, so these chilies are done. We're gonna set those aside. That is hot. Chile rellenos are a little trickier because we're not gonna completely open them up and scrape it all out. We gotta kind of make a little window and pull everything out. For this, we're gonna add a little bit of tallow just to help kind of coat everything and help get it a little roasted faster. And then while we're doing this, we'll shred our rabbit. Let's shred this wasky wabbit. Look at that. And so this is really, just super shreddable. So what we want to do is we're going to pick out all the bones basically and then leave this in here and kind of drain it. There's still a lot of oil in the bottom. And then once we do that, we'll season it to get it to the right seasoning, and then our rabbit is pretty much done. Wow, that looks so good. All right, so we're just gonna shred this up. So that is like, that's just one leg right there. Kind of take a little bit of peek, a little peeksy poo. Use your hands to feel it, and there's nothing hard in there, so that's good. We'll take out this other little drumstick. It smells really good, you guys. Most of the little bones are gonna be by the ribs and stuff. So the legs and shoulders are pretty easy. You know, watch out for some peppercorns in there. There's gonna be some cartilage, a little bit, not too much, because it's not too much cartilage in rabbit, and it's gonna be broken down pretty good. Oh, another bone. Look how easy it falls apart. I'm barely even pulling on it. This is just so tender. You just want to make sure you get in everywhere to make sure that you have no little hard bones sticking anywhere, hiding from you. All right, so yeah, this is where we got to be careful. Yeah, the rib cages are where a lot of the bones are. So we're about to get into a rib cage. You're going to see a lot of little teeny bones like that, and that's the tricky part. You just want to make sure you get them all, because there's a lot in here. Like, you get little teeny bones like that. All good. And watch out for the peppercorns that might have hidden away. Oh yeah, look at that little guy trying to hide from us. This is one of the reasons too why I don't use gloves for this kind of thing. It kind of dulls my sense of touch, and I don't want to miss any of these little bones, especially when you're serving at a restaurant or for lots of people. You really want to make sure that you get all the bones out. And the peppercorns too. No one likes biting into a peppercorn. And look at that. Look at how easy that just falls apart. All right, and there's so many little teeny bones in here. I'm not gonna mess around with it too much. If we lose a little bit of the meat, it's okay. It's not worth the pain of biting into a bone. I've been boned a few times, if you catch my drift. These are little rib bones, man. They're in there. This is why restaurants, you know, sometimes you have to pay a little extra at restaurants, because there's a lot of work that goes into these dishes. There's some guy who's making rabbit confit in the back, picking out bones for half an hour every day or whatever. That's the start of his shift, is his prep cook, is just picking out bones. You know, a lot of work goes into this stuff, man. It's not just like a chef shows up and, hey, where's my rabbit? Where's my this? Some dude's been picking bones out of rabbits for hours. And imagine doing this on a huge scale. Imagine doing this for like a full restaurant, having to do 40 rabbits at a time. 40 rabbits a day or something crazy like that. I mean, it's a lot of work that goes into these kinds of preps. So sometimes you go to nice restaurants and they have cool dishes like this. Maybe just be a little bit more appreciative of all the effort that goes into like making something like this. I think we got most of them. If we're gonna keep checking as we go along. I think that's, oh, there we go. The spine. Where'd you go? It's like searching for a bone in a meat stack. I think that is one deboned rabbit. Any dish where you want to try something new, try some rabbit confit. There, look at that beautiful roast on these guys. And you know, you can throw a couple tomatoes in your salsa verde too if you really want to. I've done that before, but I want a very simple salsa verde for this. And now I think we're gonna throw in our garlics, because those are kind of half roasted. Let those babies sit. So now we're gonna finish seasoning our rabbit. It's got great flavor to it, and honestly, I only think we really need to just put a little bit of salt and fresh cracked pepper. And that's pretty much it. One thing that salt does too, that a lot of people don't realize, it doesn't just make things salty, it really brings out the flavor of a lot of stuff. We just put a touch of salt into that oil, so we're not gonna get a lot of that salt flavor. It just kind of helps to bring everything together. But this salt that we add now, all the onion, the garlic, the herbs, the olive oil flavor itself, once we mix this in, it's gonna bring out those flavors. So I doubt we're gonna need much more than salt and maybe some pepper. So we're gonna give it a good salt. And you can do this by taste. I don't know the parts to this. You just kind of add it to taste. So add a little bit, taste it, add a little bit, taste it, until it tastes really good and very rich and savory. Yeah, a little more. That's really good though, you guys. Oh, you wasky wabbit. That is delicious. A little fresh cracked pepper, and I think we got it, guys. Probably like 8 or 9 cranks, nothing too crazy. That is fucking good. Oh, that's good. The salsa is getting there. We are going to try and peel this without damaging the flesh. A little cold water will help get this out without really damaging it. There you go. The cold water will get in between the burnt skin and loosen it from the flesh. You can see it's already kind of doing it itself. I don't have to do too much work, but we really want to keep the flesh intact for this. This is part of the process. There we go. See, now it's starting to peel off. Real gently. You want to peel the skin off of chili and it's stuck and you want to keep it whole for this chili rellenos. Running it under cold water will help get it out. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's got to be mostly peeled. And we're going to do the same thing with this guy. This one started to peel on his own anyway. So cold water, run it along. Yeah, this one's peeling way easier. So we've peeled our chiles. The next step, what we're gonna do, this is the tricky part. We're gonna take all the seeds out and then stuff them, not making too big of a hole on there, because we really want to keep this guy intact for what we're gonna do with it. We're gonna take our Knife Saga paring knife. We're gonna make a little window into the sole of the chili. You see that? And then we're gonna try and take this out without damaging the chili too much. Oh, don't break. There we go. Oh, this one got fucked up a little bit. That's all right. We'll probably still be able to make use of that. I have my heart set on this guy anyways. We'll just put this off to the side and hope for the best with this. So we're gonna cut this one open. This one is looking a lot better. Cut a little window, and then we're going to cut in here again. Cut the stem loose. Perfect. Okay, yeah, this one's gonna be a lot better, everybody. This is what we're going for, guys. This is emptied out, maybe a few seeds, but no big deal. It's got a window so we can stuff it pretty easily, and it's gonna close very easily so it'll stay whole once we make it into a chile relleno. So we'll let that cool off a little bit because that'll help. We're gonna preheat our oven to 400. Super basic salsa verde. We're just gonna throw in what we got. We're not gonna add a bunch of stock. We don't need to add anything crazy. These tomatillos have got a lot of water in it, so they'll get pretty watery. Onions, garlic, tomatillos. We're gonna add some cilantro and a touch of lime juice, and that's it. You don't need to go crazy on the salsa verde. I'm gonna take the stems off the jalapenos. I'm gonna take the seeds out real fast. These were spicier jalapenos, so we're gonna take all this stuff out. We don't want the spice to overpower the flavor of the chile relleno. Real hot. Oh yes, in that, yeah, yeah. The old school, baby. We'll throw our cilantro in there because it is an absolute must for salsa. You gotta have cilantro. Squeeze a lime. We're not gonna do a lot of lime, just a squeeze of lime. One squeeze of lime should do. Just got a teeny bit of salt. That's the last little touch of this. Let's see what we got. Check this out. Look at this beautiful salsa verde. Oh, it's gonna be so good on that wasky wabbit. All right, meatheads, we're gonna take a quick break, clean up this huge mess that I made, come right back and finish up these rabbit confits. You guys stay right there. Movie magic. So now we're going to stuff our chile rellenos. We are using Oaxaca cheese, queso Oaxaca from Oaxaca, Mexico. This is really good melty cheese. It's muy auténtico, como yo. And it's probably the most widely used cheesed for chile rellenos. We are going to take a few strands of this cheese. That looks pretty good. We're gonna stuff that into this pepper like this. And then we're gonna start fill it with this rabbit confit meat. Literally stuff it. We want it stuffed to the brim. So that, watch, you see, once this is full, we'll be able to seal it up. Okay? Look at that. This one didn't come out so well, but we're gonna give it a shot. We're just gonna give it the old college try here. Put our rabbit confit in there with it like this. Pretty open there at the bottom. This one's definitely gonna work. This one's gonna be fucking awesome. So next we have a basic egg wash. Flour, egg, and breadcrumb. Your choice of breadcrumb. I like panko. We are going to season this one just a tiny bit with a little bit of salt. Just a little bit of salt on the flour. Nothing crazy. With this, however, we're gonna season a little more. We're gonna put another touch of salt, nothing too crazy. Some chili powder, will give it a nice color and nice flavor. And cumin, because cumin has got a great flavor for this type of cuisine. Probably a little more cumin than chili powder. You want that cuminy flavor. So we'll mix this all up together. A little salt, a little chili powder, a little cumin. And a little goes a long way when it comes to this breading stuff, so don't overdo it. I don't know if these bowls are big enough for this guy, but we're gonna try it anyways. We're gonna coat this guy in flour. We're gonna coat this guy in egg. Proud of that. Look at this. And then we're gonna do breadcrumbs, and the breadcrumbs should be the sealer for this. Should use bigger bowls. So traditionally, chile rellenos are deep fried. We're gonna oven roast this one. I have always just done it oven roasted. What I think it does when you fry it, it kind of compresses it a little bit. It cooks it a little faster, but for the presentation, I like to have this. It's still just as crunchy. It holds its texture a little bit better. So we're just gonna put it on this cast iron pan straight like this. Our oven is already hot at 400 degrees. So we'll put this in here. I bet you this takes about 12 to 15 minutes or so. We'll see if we can do this guy. Okay, egg wash. This, you know what? Actually, this could work a little bit. Holy crap, we saved it. The power of cooking. No one would even know that that guy did not come out real well. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes or so. Pretty good. Starting to get crispy golden brown. It is definitely crunchy. I bet you that cheese is nice and melty. Nice and hot. This looks perfect. All right, so we have the cold dish ready to go. We're about to plate this up. I know this seems like a lot of work, especially if you're doing it at your house and you have a whole afternoon to do it, because there's a lot of steps. But in restaurants, and I wanted to kind of reiterate this, one of the reasons why dishes are sometimes a little expensive is because of how much work goes into this dish. This is just gonna be a chili stuffed with meat and cheese, put on a plate with some salsa. To do it in a restaurant, you'd have to have someone leave the rabbit cook overnight, someone in the morning to come get it out, someone shredding it, roasting all the peppers, getting all the salsa done, stuffing everything, setting them out. So what we do at service at night is these are already prepped and ready to go, just uncooked. The salsa's already cooked. You already have all of your mise en place ready to go. So in the moment, it takes like 15 minutes to get your plate. throw it in the oven, roast it off, get your plate set up, set it out of the oven. We're talking about $28 to $32 for something like this. Not because of the ingredients, not because of what it is, but because of all the work that goes into making a dish like this. For me personally, when I go to nice restaurants and get a dish like this, I can taste the effort that's put into it. I can taste the whole thing. So that's just something to keep in mind when you go to nice restaurants and you see it. It's like, dude, this is a rabbit stuffed chili. Why is it fucking $40 or whatever? That's why, because it took 3 people 5 hours to get all this stuff prepped. So make it worth it. We gotta pay the guys who do it. We gotta pay the guys overnight. Gotta pay the bills, baby. And if you do this at home, you might even lose a little sleep, especially if you wanna make sure things are on track all night. So anyways, that's my little PSA when you go to nice restaurants and you see cool, funky dishes like this. Just don't go to those restaurants if you don't wanna pay those prices and eat these cool things. And that's totally fine. We can go to taco stands and eat tacos the rest of our lives. Totally cool with that. So this is what we do. Our final steps. We're gonna take this delicious salsa verde, put it in the bottom of the pan like that. You don't need a lot. Little goes a long way with this stuff. I think we're gonna take the little guy, actually. Yeah, we'll take the little guy. We'll take the big guy. We'll take the big guy. Let's do that. Then we're gonna take a little bit of this sour cream. I'm gonna drizzle this right on top. And then we're just gonna chop, just quick, really easy, rough chop on some cilantro. Little green. There we go. Beautiful rabbit confit chile relleno. Fancy AF, but fun to do. Oh, the cheese is melty. That's why you use the Oaxacan cheese, because of how it melts. A little sour cream, a little salsa. That is a fantastic dish. Everything works so well together. You're not gonna taste rabbit, chili, sour cream, salsa. It kind of blends itself into one new, complete flavor. There is depth and richness and savoriness from that rabbit, acidity from the salsa, the cream balances all out, and the roasted pepper that we put and stuff, a little bit of smokiness to it. This is a perfect dish. Oh, we're very successful. That was really good, you guys. Especially if you're a hunter, a small game hunter, and you love hunting wasquy wabbits like me. This is a great way to spice things up, change it around. So what if they're cute, man? All animals are cute if you think about it. Doesn't mean they're any less delicious. So the next time you have a brace of conies and you wanna do something other than just a little stew, try rabbit confit chile relleno. I'm pretty proud of this dish. It's pretty delicious. I think you're gonna enjoy it too. We've done it again, meatheads. Pretty proud of this dish. I hope at least one of you guys try it. If you do, leave it in the comments, see how it came out for you. Please remember to like and subscribe. We'll see you next wabbit season.